What is up, guys? Evanaldo here. Welcome back to the channel. Couple really good things that we're seeing on the charts. I mean, the number one thing, others versus Bitcoin, you're getting a deep kind of anchor wave right here, which could be finally, giving the scene for giving the cue or whatever for some type of altcoin season. 2 month, I don't normally look at the 2 month, too much, but still a very rare bullish sign, even if it's just like this, you'll still come up a little bit. It's just a little jump up, but I would hope it would be more, of a extended jump up for at least into the end of the year, excuse me. So we get into, looking at the latest trades. Nice to see my Ethereum long now in the green. I mean, Jim Cramer posted that this September is normally historically a bad month, but with Trump in office, anything could happen. I think he may be right. So, it's possible. And I mean, it's a post-halving year. So, September may be green. October may be green. November may be green. Maybe even December may be green. And then everything falls off a cliff in 2026. That's possible too. So we'll see what happens here. If you guys are interested in trading, I post all these trades, stop losses, entry points, take profits in the Discord. That's the first link down below for the Discord. This is over on BidFi, no KYC and VPN. So far, it's been pretty good. Check it out down below as well. And remember, if you guys sign up to either BidFi or BloFin down below and deposit at least $100, we'll give you one free month in the Discord. A lot of good people in there, a lot of good trades. I'm going to do a live chat in there with some of you guys. You guys could join in and talk to me if you want. We'll do that pretty soon, hopefully within the next few days. And yeah, so remember, open a support ticket with your UID or your email. If you send any links down below, deposit at least $100, 20% off your fees for life on BloFin and BidFi as well. So, if we look at Bitcoin, we're getting kind of that jump up here and green Heikin-Ashi on that, the 2 days. So there's some good signs. There's some decent signs, gap to our size here. I mean, Bitcoin, we just kind of wanted to go sideways, maybe slightly bullish, and that would kind of adhere to an altcoin season. That would be the environment we need for kind of an altcoin season. We got ETH made a new all-time high. There's a lot there. So we got that. And then let's look at that. And I mean, potentially if things go really well, I mean, into the end of September, Fed rate cuts bullish, ultra bullish into that. Maybe, 130K could be doable. I know CVO was talking about, shout out to CVO Crypto, he was talking about 130K. A harmonic. I've had him on the channel a few times at 130K and then potentially a drop off after that. We'll see what happens. I mean, Bitcoin could top out early October, end of this month, and then altcoin season could, go for a month or two after, similar to how it was in 2017 into 2018. So, yeah, I mean, Ethereum, if you were to bottom out here, which you might, green Heikin-Ashi candle forming here, potentially a jump up a little bit higher into the end of the month, 4,800, then hopefully 5,400, maybe, just maybe. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Seems a little bit too optimistic sometimes when you think about that and talk about that. So, let's just take it day by day. I mean, you still got the anchor wave to the downside in the sixth day. Same with the weekly. Maybe this is kind of already playing out. It does confirm in 4 days. We'll see what happens. The big thing that, that I probably can't stress to you guys enough, well, for a potential place to, take profits. I would say the next red dot here, which probably won't be until at least October. Once that confirms, probably a market cycle top. Hopefully it doesn't confirm until we hit at least, 7,300, 10K, 11K, something of that nature. Hopefully that it doesn't confirm until then. The long I am in is just trying to, I think, get back up to this 4,700. It almost got stopped out. It was almost stopped out by 60 cents. Sometimes you get lucky like that. Usually when it gets that close, it does get stopped out. But, I mean, BidFi has been good in that respect. So helping the case for BidFi, I guess, is a good exchange to use. So, yeah. Bitcoin dominance, actually I want to just talk about the more interesting things first. Talked about 2 month, really good in others versus Bitcoin. I think as long as this keeps going up, this should be a catalyst and a good signal for, continued altcoin season. And, for next few months could be pretty good. Others versus Ethereum, hitting a big point. For people who are really bearish, usually you don't see market cycle tops at lows here. Usually you see them more towards tops. I mean, this wasn't the exact top, but this was around April, May of 21. And then, you had, this is area before you really went down. So, usually you see the lows before the market, kind of jumps up. I don't remember, but the second half of 23 was good. And, second half of 24, I think was pretty, second half of 24 was pretty good. And even, January of 21 was pretty good in that jump up too. So usually when this jumps up, the whole market does well. So that's kind of the bullish case here. Now, a few alts that I've been looking at, Chainlink's been on that list. Good fundamental coin, good on the technicals too. I think there's a good shot of making a new all-time high in the coming months here. And I think he looks good against ETH as well. Trigger wave on the weekly, or 3 week, doesn't get much better than how we look. Solana, I think, has got a good shot of, continuing to jump up to 266 and hopefully 400, by the end of the year. I think Solana's got some potential, not the safest bet, but pretty good bet for a double, let's be real, pretty good bet for a double. Polygon been outperforming a few coins here, trying to jump back up. And I think that you should be able to, and, we don't look at the Matic chart because, it's just come down so much. It's incredibly depressing, but 45 cents, 50 cents, let's try to get there. Maybe this could pump up and jump up a lot. So, there's your potential there. Crypto.com, let's see. Crypto.com, I want to look at that area because a big jump. Maybe you hold here. I could see it going down to 23. It's a big point, but maybe, just maybe, you're able to hold here. So things are getting more bullish. Avalanche as well. Trying to get that jump up. Let's get up to $30 and then hopefully some more, let's say worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario for this, let's say $39, let's say, or 37, let's say, something like that. But I think you will break upward, higher for that. Now, what's interesting, what I'll give you, what I've been kind of studying and looking at, it's like, what do you put your gains into, safe harbor them in 2026, assuming you see a pretty bad bear market. I could see Bitcoin going back to 50K, maybe 48K, maybe even 45K in 2026. I see ETH going up to 7 to 10K and then going back to somewhere in the 2000s, just based on history. What could be something good to put your money in? What could hit $1 million by the end of this decade? And it's not Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin's going to hit $1 million by the end of this decade. Probably some point in the 2040s, I would guess. But Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett. Will Warren Buffett see the day? Will he see the day where it gets up to $1 million, Berkshire Hathaway, into, I could guess, 2028 to 29, 27 to 29. Somewhere in like that. And I mean, the thing is, I was looking at kind of the evaluations. I don't have the chart up at the moment, but the evaluations, against, what outperformed Bitcoin more. Was it gold? Was it Berkshire Hathaway? Was S&P 500 in previous bear market years? It was Berkshire Hathaway in 2018, 2022, and I believe 2014 as well. So he's half bonds. If you think the S&P 500 may have a red year, if you think gold may come down, which a lot of smart people do think gold may come down in 2026, probably Warren Buffett would be the one to bet on. First freaking $1 million a share stock. I mean, you're probably going to get there by the end of the decade, which is just crazy. So, that's one thing to kind of safe harbor, some of the gains in. Now, use other income and, long-term hodl bags and all that. But, right here on Bitcoin, you look at some of the previous, kind of 400%, it's a 800%, but even this one, it's a common almost 400%. Maybe you see the same thing if this does have a green year with the bonds. And I do think the yields will come down in 2026. They're not doing too much right now, trying to come down. I think it's going to take some time, but I do think, and he's 50%. Berkshire Hathaway is 50%. I mean, I know a lot of you crypto guys are probably so bored, bored with the bonds, all this boring old people stuff. But, this probably will see a decent 2026, at least back up to, hopefully some of these points, maybe even higher. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. That's pretty much all the, main things I have for you guys right now. I think we got a good shot for market to continue to recover. I'm pretty damn optimistic on this market right now. So, we'll see what happens. Smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as always, check out the links down below for BYDFI, BloFin, if you guys are interested in trading, and the Discord down below as well. See you guys really soon. Goodbye.